we should list our top 5 episodes before we get to the special guest stars.
Oh, I should go first?
Yeah.
Okay. My top 5 is Rosetta,
Mm-hmm.
Red,
Mm-hmm.
Heat, Nocturne, and Rush. Should we go into an explanation?
Yeah, for some of them, yeah.
Well, Rosetta, I mean, that's pretty much when Clark finds out, everything about him.
Yeah.
And he gains a little bit more knowledge thanks to a certain individual, which we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But that is the episode where Clark finds out his Kryptonian name, where he's from. He learns and fully understands the Kryptonian language, and whether he likes it or not, kind of finds out the mission statement of why he's on Earth.
Yeah.
Red, of course, the first episode where unbeknownst to him, he finds out about red kryptonite and becomes so out of pocket.
Yeah.
So out of pocket. Oh my God. The things he said to his own parents. Oh, good Lord. The things he did that whole episode.
Yeah.
So out of pocket. And then
Tom's favorite episode too.
he liked being out of pocket, didn't he? Heat, which Clark finally gets heat vision after every time I close my eyes, I wake up feeling. Well, he was already awake.
Yeah.
After looking at Lex's fiance, like. Yeah. Which, who knew?
Yeah.
Who knew? Nocturne, in which we get to know a different character that it's another type of unfortunate tragedy. It's like a Jekyll and Hyde situation. Plus, we also get a Batman animated series regular in that episode.
Yeah.
And Rush.
The thing that I thought you weren't going to put in because you didn't like it very, very much.
But it was a good episode.
Yeah.
I mean, it did do... We got to see a lot of acting chops and everything, and everyone.
Yeah. Well, mine, I'm going with Rosetta also because we learn Clark's origins along with a special cameo from the Superman franchise from an actor from that franchise coming there who tells him his origin. We're going with Rush for me because I liked Crazy Pete, Ray K. Clark, because Ray K. Clark actually almost fights Lex at one point. And Chloe is kind of hot when she was under control, despite the fact that despite all the actresses' doings.
Despite knowing what Allison Mack is now as a person.
Yeah, it has me so confused.
Yeah.
And then,
makes me sad.
Yeah, me too. And then Lineage, I like that because I like the deal with the devil thing with Jonathan and Lionel thing, and how they almost had a good friendship. They almost had a friendship if Lionel wasn't busy being a
manipulative douche.
Yeah. Along with the Clark and Lex thinking that they could have been, Lex thinking Clark could have been his brother, and how happy he would have been. Yeah, at the time. And then...
Such a great tragedy.
Of course, Red for me. Because we get to see Bad Clark and Pete and Jonathan have a lot to do in stopping Red K. Clark, because he essentially becomes the bad guy midway through because he just wants to be rich. And then I'm going with the season premiere Vortex. I actually like the season premiere, even though it's part of a two-part. Even though it's second part of an episode, it's still really good. It's still really good. We get to see Clark and Lex have their first sort of falling out a bit. We get to see Jonathan trying to keep his son's secret, and we get to see Lex trying to gain Clark's trust back after that falling out, basically. And we also get Lana suspicious of Clark's powers.
I mean, the suspicion really should be up here rather than it being here.
Yeah.
The man was in the middle of a tornado.
Yeah. And let's get to our special guest stars.
Oh, yeah, there is also one other thing I want to point out. Whether it's a good or a bad,
Yeah.
like half of the antagonists die
Yeah.
by the end of an episode, and
Most of it's by them on the background.
it's usually them. It usually ends up them causing their own destruction. Sometimes it worked. Sometimes I think they were using that idea a bit too much.
Yeah.
Definitely in this season, I think they were using that idea a bit too much.
They started to figure out by season 5, really, what Clark can and can't do, especially when he actually gets to fight not just Kryptonian, but actual little aliens that are made of metal, or should I say, not robots. He can get rid of.
Oh, so he finally actually gets to start killing.
Yeah.
But is it technically killing if it's a machine? Oh, yeah, they're using the Ninja Turtles logic. Huh?
Yeah. But you have to
Krang is a robot.
The foot soldier's a robot.
That as well.
Yeah. Yep. So, but you have to wait till season 5 for that to actually happen.
Great. We have to go through another season of just so much yeet.
Yeah.
Maybe a punch or two, and then, ha 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 ha, I'm coming. Oh no, I just done stabbed myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. But now let's get into the special guest stars. Welcome back, Joe Morton, for your first DC death.
And dear God, he was legitimately terrifying.
Yeah.
We saw this man actually commit a murder without any care in the world. Actually, a little bit of glee in doing it.
Yep. Then telling Lionel about the ship. Blind Lionel about the ship because Lex didn't want anything to do with it. Holding Pete hostage. Everything. Of course, he gets killed by his own powers he got from the same thing that happened to Tony Todd's character in season 1.
Which I felt so bad for Tony Todd in that one.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that Candyman could make you feel?
Yeah. Then, of course, we get a couple of home improvement people. Zachary Ty Bryan and Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Not in the same episode, though.
But both of them being absolute utter monsters, but in varying degrees of monster.
Yeah. Eric Marsh gets high on kryptonite. That's his steroids.
Yeah, just have step 1, have inhaler. Step 2, make sure there's kryptonite in inhaler. Step 3.
And if anyone gets in his way, just kill him.
Yeah.
Yep, and that's about it. And Jonathan Taylor Thomas, he played Ian Randall, who really wanted to get a good college education, but he wanted to kill anyone who stopped that.
Yeah.
Starting with one of the teachers.
Yeah. Oh, you gave me, what, was it a B plus or an A minus?
I thought it was a C.
A C?
Yeah.
You gave me a C?
Yeah.
When I'm trying to get all A's? When I'm trying to get into an Ivy League school?
And he can multiply himself into one other person.
Meet my other half.
Where he
We'll be killing you now.
and where he also dates Lana and Chloe, and we get this super Lana and Chloe being upset with Clark of being jealous moment.
Dear God, freaking love triangles.
Even though Clark was right the whole entire time.
Yeah. You all have already been through a season where crazy shenanigans has been going on, and you're continuing to go through crazy shenanigans. Maybe listen to the guy. How many things have we seen where what would just be considered out of the realm of possibility is possible?
Yeah.
How many things have we seen?
So many.
Listen to him.
And then we get a return of Lizzie Kaplan as Tina Greer, which we see very little of her. We mainly see her in her disguise, as Eric Johnson does come back as Whitney.
Yeah.
Both versions of Whitney. The regular version, who ends up dying in the war, and then Tina as Whitney.
Afghanistan?
Yeah.
Or Iraq?
I think it was Afghanistan.
We weren't in Iraq yet.
No. Yep.
As much as I did not like Whitney in season 1, I didn't want the man to die.
Yeah. But he ends up doing what happens to Tommy and Eddie in the Arrowverse.
True.
Yep.
Which it seemed like getting a raw deal.
Yep.
Though, yeah, with her whole plan, why was she doing single white female in reverse? Usually it's supposed to be you become infatuated with the person and then you want to be the person.
Mm-hmm.
Why is she wanting to be the person but then becomes infatuated with the person?
If that's the writer's that part.
Y'all did it in reverse. And plus, her wanting to do it the other way doesn't really make much sense after all the other shenanigans that happened, because she was willing to kill Lana to have her life.
Yeah.
Do you really think... I don't see her gaining the infatuation. I would think she would still be trying to steal Lana's life.
Yep. And then we get Richard Mall as Mr. Moore, where we get a sort of Batman the Animated Series reunion from Chris's favorite episode, even though they never interact with each other. And Richard Mall sort of disappears after he's busy looking for his son, and that.
And then we never see him again.
Yeah, we don't know what happened. We don't know if he died or just disappeared, or what. There was no off-screen explanation. He just
I mean, what happens to half of the people that we meet in Smallville, where crazy shenanigans is happening to them, and then the next episode we just don't hear nothing from them?
Yep. Of course. Then there's also Camille Mitchell, who's our new sheriff, because the old sheriff set up Jonathan for potential murder, along with murdered another guy who he was also friends with, because he wanted to get out of Lionel Luthor's thumb.
I mean, I understand you hate Lionel Luthor. I understand. We all do, because this man is a manipulative monster, but you gonna try to set up your own best friend who has had your back for murder? Really, bro? That's low, man. That's low.
So we get Sheriff Adams, who goes over the top. We're trying to go by the book. by getting on all the guys.
I understand she's doing her job and trying to do her job right.
Mm-hmm.
But dear God, she becomes much more of a hindrance than Chloe half of the time.
Yeah. And of course, we get introduced to Lana's real father, Henry Small, played by Patrick Cassidy, who's Katie Cassidy's uncle. Yep. Yep. Who was also in the Lois and Clark show, playing a guy who pretended to be Lex Luthor's son while working with the real Lex Luthor's son.
Huh.
Yep. Which makes him ironic because in this one he hates the Luthors in this version.
And turns out to be Lana's real daddy.
Yeah.
Well, her father.
Yeah. But after this season we never see him again.
Well, yeah, because apparently finding all of this out is causing difficulties in his marriage.
Yeah.
So,
for a woman who doesn't like their relationship.
Which, get over yourself. This girl just wants to know her dad, and he just found out, oh, I am a dad.
Yeah.
How is this causing you any distress?
Yeah. But then we have good old janitor Neil Flynn as Pete Dinsmore, because Lionel is the first Luthor to go work on cloning before his son does, and makes a clone of Lana's dead friend who saved her, only without all the consciousness.
I can't do this all on my own.
A guy who survives getting...
I'm no Superman.
Who gets stabbed by his own little girl, but somehow survives.
This time.
Yeah.
I feel bad for... Of everyone this season, who do you feel bad for the most?
I feel bad for probably Pete Dinsmore.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we get Sean Connery's son, Jason Connery, back as Dominique. We forgot to mention him in season 1, but he's there working with Lionel to try and get under Lex's nerves a lot.
Fantastic.
We'll talk about him more in the 6th Doctor era.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah. Good old Vengeance on Varos.
He really does not get enough credit on how good of an actor he is.
Yeah.
He really does not.
No.
Is it because he's in his dad's shadow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we get the MCU appearances from Anson Mount as the ex-boyfriend of Lex's girl. He tried to set Lex up and everything.
And dear God,
Yep, he even tries to. Yep, of course, he actually speaks in this one.
yeah, him talking doesn't kill people.
Yeah, of course, he was almost Lex Luthor, which was mentioned in the Talkville podcast.
Which I could see it.
Yeah.
I could see him play Lex, but Michael Rosenbaum.
Yeah.
Michael just had that sort of unique factor that just made Lex work.
Then Emmanuel Vaugier as Dr. Helen Bryce, Lex's recurring love interest and wife for the
second wife.
Yeah, second wife for this season.
Yeah, after being played by his first wife because, she got pheromone powers.
Yep.
That she can manipulate anyone she wants, except for Clark.
Yep. Yep. But her storyline's about their relationship, and also she's able to puncture Clark when he gets sick, which has a blood, which plays a part in her and Lex's relationship. Lex decides to go steal the blood, even though he doesn't even know it's Clark's for reasons.
And then it even becomes a bigger factor in the next season.
Yep. And then, now we're going to the actual Superman alumni with good old Terrence Stamp as the voice of Jor-El. Computer Jor-El. The asshole.
Yep. General Zod is Jor-El.
Mm-hmm.
That is hilarious.
Yep. Who's a dick by making Clark have a symbol on him, on his chest.
And just make the man suffer.
Yep, and tell him that they served his purpose. He has to go, and I guess be Superman now.
But I guess he wants him to be more like Red Sun Superman.
Yeah.
He's watching you.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, really,
Yeah.
did Jor-El want Clark to take over Earth?
That's never really brought up for.
Or did he just want Clark to make the right
I
decision?
think make the right decision, but the computer just has access on there. He first appears at the ship
Well, yes.
as a voice in the ship.
Which Clark was like, "Got to burn the ship."
Yep. And now we get to our actual thing. Part of the best episode for season 2. The late Christopher Reeve as Dr. Virgil Swan.
Such a fantastic episode.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how much it was going to affect me, emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, this truly felt like a passing of the torch
Mm-hmm.
type of situation.
Mm-hmm.
Superman himself kind of handing the legacy next to a new Superman who I think kind of became Superman for a whole nother generation.
Yeah.
And, the fact that Christopher Reeve still did this despite the state of his health.
Yep.
This was around the time where being a quadriplegic after his unfortunate accident, his health was starting to fail.
Yep.
But the man still knew how to act.
Yeah.
He still hadn't missed a beat despite the fact that he couldn't move his body.
Mm-hmm. And what's removed in the Hulu versions, they actually, after the episode, they actually did post a PSA fundraiser thing, foundation with him and Tom.
Oh.
Yep. So where they end up using take 3. Yeah. In the air at the end where Tom says gets off script and says thank you, and Chris gets overwhelmed and says, "Oh, thank you." Cut, and you can hear everyone from the background laughing. Yeah. Yep, it's on both the Blu-rays and the Prime, but not on the Hulu version for some reason. But
Which I have a feeling would have made me tear up.